I'm about to do the bravest thing anyone could do. Give an opinion on the internet. I think the new ring ideas are in fact good. Now, before you get those pitchforks ready, at least watch a little bit first. Now, I've done something quite unusual for me, which is not being hasty with my judgment. Ever since release, I've been doing my due diligence, and I want to share what I think of the highs and lows of the two newest additions to Bleed. Now, I am not a huge Bleed fan. Never was. However, it's no longer my least favourite status. And these are all my opinions, so feel free to share yours. The best thing to come from the Ring Duo's release was how much I enjoyed playing Bleed since the Bloodfiends release. Back then, there were 4 slots on the team taken up automatically, leaving only 3 slots. And I thought with the release of Prince, it would be 5 slots taken. Thankfully that wasn't the case because Baba had issues from the start, but team building felt restrictive, and this is my first huge positive. Team building feels fun again. Not that it wasn't before, but there was less to work with. I made a few teams when I was testing, and each of them felt great. Did they work? Yeah, kind of. Some worked better than others. I mentioned before about the Bloodfiends being a little restricted. A worry I have is the ring ending up the same way. Will it be as powerful? No, probably not, but the synergy will be. Look, when you have IDs that can make the middle seem top tier, you know you have something special on your hands. Not to mention, they have actual synergy. The support passive on Faust is pretty good for them, but they have the same issues they've always had. They're just not a good Bleed team. A strong Blunt Envy team, sure, but enough about them. Expect another showcase when the sweeping Bokgak finally drops.
Oh shit, here we go again.
I tried a few IDs out, most notably Night Owl's Gregor and Red Eye's Ryoshu. These are my 2 standouts. I've always liked Night Owl's, but he's got niche uses. At times he felt more like a Tremor ID cosplaying as a Bleed ID. But then I realised something. Every team needs a DPS, and it's not so bad having a few of those. As for Red Eyes, it's nice having some sustain. This is my personal bias talking now, but I really enjoy this unit. I think both her passives are great. She has great synergy with her skill affinities, and all-round tankiness. Not to mention, she's got aura, and that's really all that matters. But on a more serious note, with some cause for concern now, Prince is arguably the most important member of the team. Hey, so funny story. At the time of writing the script and then recording it, they revealed these after the fact. So everything I said about Prince maybe could be wrong. So that's Mersault, by the way. The concern I have stems from what happens when/if he gets replaced like the rest of the Bloodfiends. I will address the Manager Don situation. Now, Prince has the great mechanic of Hard-Blood armor. Sorry, Gregor fans, but this one thing single-handedly benched Priest. I mentioned Red Eyes for sustain, but Hard-Blood is just much more consistent and tied to the best Mersault ID. Yes, this is bait, it's obviously Thumbsalt.
Oh my god, he's so goddamn cool!
Not to mention, he is one of the 2 reasons to use Princess. And speaking of Princess, let's get to her very briefly. She buffs up Prince and Manager by being on the field, and she has Sanguine Desire. That's sadly it. Sanguine is useful for maintaining the bleed count, except it's gotten a lot easier to maintain it. It's still useful to have for sure, but looking at Faust, after playing her, count has been less of an issue. I mean, just take a look at this.
양감이 떠올랐어.
신체파의 예술을 보여줄 시간단다.
저의 뼈를 금이 잡고 저의 살로 채워라. 외면의 예술. 그 소재 가져갈래요.
퇴장 시간이 되었다. 그럼 안녕히.
항상 저희 영감을 일깨워 주시는군요.
이제 한 쌍의 상황볼과 24개의 늑골이 자아내는 티비아의 멜로디가 거기서 지켜보시죠.
맞야, 이건 좀 받아볼 만한 값이야. 시방 큰 거 하나 쓸란게. 이제서 흥 깨지 말어야.
I had some more points, but they're just simple nitpicks, like double slotting Faust in her Iron Maiden form for count, but it's not worth it in my opinion. But now, it's time to address the Sancho-sized elephant of the video. Manager Don didn't feel all that great to me. Now, I'm not saying this to personally attack or rage bait anyone, so get those weird thoughts out of your head. I'm saying this because we now have other options. I'll be honest, I would still run Manager Don in my team, but she's no longer the must-run she once was. I think back to this meme, and whilst very funny, it's not that far from the truth. My biggest issue with her is her reliance on the other Bloodfiends being on field. It's restrictions like this that have me looking at Lord Lou worried for him, but that's a topic for a different day. But now, with all that said, you didn't think I'd leave without a showcase, did you? One that, I hope, highlights all the positives and negatives of Bleed, especially the one point I forgot to talk about, unbreakable coins. It's hard to keep the count when the enemy doesn't give a shit about your game plan.
마에스트로가 되기 위해 인정받은 세 가지 작품을 뜻하죠. 비록 지금 제 작품이 많이
Well, that about wraps this one up. Sorry it took so long, but I really wanted to leave no stone unturned with this one. I love the direction they went with these two IDs, and I'm excited to see how the rest of them shape up. All that's left now is to hope this was so good you'll check out some of the other content and subscribe. Alright, enough yapping. Let me know what you all thought, and I'll see you in the next one.